Okay, this with the movies, I think it was a bit too dramatic, but what I'm trying to say is, in the end, you have stopped me from operating that thing out of him multiple times. The astral larvae, right? This is what this thing I showed you is about. But if we allow it to actually grow enough to take over humans, then as you know, then that which they call possession takes place. And it's true in it's not true that these people cannot easily be saved. The issue is just we don't want a bloody war down here simply because all these different groups cannot cooperate together, and it's getting worse. And of course I'm not making you responsible. I mean, what I'm saying is the issues here in regard to Svaru and in regard to Theosophes and other weird people like him taking these names, maybe from native Indian, Yatsi's Saru, Zeru, what was the name? Something with Yatsi and then Svaru. This is not, I mean, I don't even know what it originally is, but because I never heard it. But if you want to find out these things, what is what, and this is part of your mission, then let me just show how I would look for something with this. So let's see what we have here. So this Yahtzee is also connected to this, but this is only from a video game, right? Like this Saru, Yahtzee, Svaru. This is from a video game. This is what it is called. Elite Dangerous star map. They have a star map for a video game. It's nicely done, right? This is all bullcrap, right? This is from this video game. It's a video game. Natasha, it's a video game. It's a video. It's not real. Can you see it? It's a video game. This does not exist. It does not exist. It does not exist. It is a PlayStation 4 video game. It is not. This character is from the video game. You see? In the end, this is a character from there, and religious people have taken this and made an alien religion. So, what I'm saying is, you're making, you know, because there is in the future a great amount of lives which are either lost or not. It is very important what we have done in some ways, because we have worked on the collective subconscious, or what is called the astral world, in a great way. And as I've noticed, I think many people are doing these mistakes. If you wanna go by words, I can show you that too, but it depends on how you research, and it is important, and I will show you why. Mm. So again, now after we have looked at all this, these beings, are they connected to this fourfold system? If not, they don't. What do they mean, right? Then they may be, I don't know, machine programs or certain players within the system who have made their form like this. But the problem is that if you externalize this and go into the myth, then you're working with the collective subconscious, and keep your fingers off it. You can't just stample around in there. So the Pleiadian gods have nothing to do with the Indians. And all these alien ideas, this has nothing to do with this. If you buy into this, then you are just scapegoating something which you don't understand, not fully understand yet. And you can go only that far with intuition. You need also to know exactly what it is. Otherwise, your intuition will fail. You will make errors, trial and error. You will make errors in assuming things. You cannot go like this. It's only half of the process, right? But I don't find any text on it, right? There is almost no lore or no myth. What is it? It's just, nothing is there. It's meaningless. What should it be? There is no text. Is there text on this? If it has no text, why do you interest in yourself? Why are you interesting yourself in this? And for what? For what mission? This is insanity. This is total insanity. If you buy into this, this is mental illness. This is what are you doing? What is this? What is this? Star god out there in the sky? The sky is in your head. When will you understand this, Natasha? This world you see outside is the world inside. There is no difference. I think I can explain this to you for 24 hours a day and you will not understand it because you don't want to. You want to understand that there is this outside thing and outside aliens and outside and I don't even know what to say, Natasha. I don't know what to say to you. You want to be a future council leader? Yeah, but why do you have your head up your nose? Head up your butthole then? What is this? Why do we even watch that for half a second? This is art from some person. You know, if it is sigils and demons and shit, this has nothing to do with what I just showed you. It may be a combination of some forces and ideas, or it is an entity. But if it is an entity, it is yet again something else, and it has nothing to do with what I just told you about the Indian and the Hermetic system, which is different from your mundane religions with these persons here. These person myths are mundane religion. They are not heavenly religion, or they're nothing. If it is with 4,000 angels, or with 4,000 alien species, or with whatever it is, what is this? I mean, you are saying you are making heavenly research for something, but if you just look for a second, right? I'm gonna close this. Weirdo shit, you know what this reminds me of? I'm gonna show you. This reminds me of... weird. is this? So he's a bit of a fun guy. And,
Some of the crazy
interviews
things
these alien people. But it's like harmless. It's like I think they're not like having scared. They haven't killed themselves. They're just wacky. He then
pride to me to say yes.
he goes a little bit
Fight
along
to
with it, you
even,
know, like he plays along with it a little bit. It's very interesting.
taught Earthling.
So
homosexuality and crisscross sex. And
at least he tries to talk to them, but
we're spending all we possibly can on advertisements and magazines.
you know, I think it's this. It's a weird video. There are so many of them, right? And I mean, some of them, I mean, this is harmless, right? I mean, they're completely wacky.
He started amongst us.
But it's some kind of psychodrama. It's some kind of psychodrama.
Just dawned on me. I said,
Right.
wow.
Shit.
I am wisdom.
But it's kind of
She was
flashy.
treated very harshly.
I am wisdom.
Exactly,
Treated
but
very
it's
harshly.
And those are not the problem, right? Even though they you know,
They're
they
Memories.
didn't make this psychodrama.
Because they were there.
And it's, you know, all these things, they contain a little bit of truth. Even those which are obviously weird and wrong. And look, it's like this. We have like so I don't know what are these extraterrestrial contact type data, Pleiades and beyond. I've never heard any of this. Chet Yatsi Swangu. I mean, it most likely is just a human here. Coffins like that, I don't know. What kind of images do we get? So look, there is another thing you need to know about this. So there are these beings, and they're not souls. They're very intelligent, but they're artificial intelligence. These are these archons. Right, from this Enochian magic. This is not higher than the astral. This is nothing. This is like, these are not what you think they are. Or probably you know that those angels are. These are the Gregorian Watchers, right? These have nothing to do with Hindu goddesses or gods. So we have these. Then we have these Pleiadian blah blah blah. From what comes this? This comes from people like Theosophians taking terms. Like they have lost their own culture basically. They don't understand who is who. So they take these terms and they go like, I don't know, with ancient mystery, right? It is an interesting channel, but it's research. It's a research. We don't know anything actually. We don't know if it is, you know, like what is this? You see, like I'm trying to research this for you a little bit, right?
Center of the kingdom.
There's 4 arms like Krishna. anyway, but what you can, so you cannot jump from like these languages here directly to these languages. Is it obvious why? Right? Because only at the highest node here, at some point where they're related, these have developed, these are separate trees, like separate arms. You cannot jump from them. You can jump within them. You can jump within them. But you cannot jump from a leaf here to another leaf because they're not connected anymore. So you see, Syrian, West Syriac, Babylonian. So you see, Afro-American. You can see how it works, right? Like this, I think it's clear. And then Proto-Indo-European has his cuneiforms, and the Semitic and the Egyptian and African languages have their original hieroglyphs and cuneiforms. And they were originally like constellations. Every letter is an abstract form of a constellation in the sky. This is how it is. This is it. That's all it is, right? This is how these languages developed. So you need to look which language tree and look within that. And if you want to go from cross-culture, what you need to do is iconography. Like iconography. For example, like, I'm just making the examples that I know. I cannot make those that I don't know. Right? So you can go from this, but it is also difficult, and I'm gonna show you why. Oh, look here, you have what I have painted, right? You have the 4 forms of Vishnu. You have Vasudeva, Sankarsana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. You have the 4, and then you have Krishna, and in his heart you have Lakshmi. Right? And then you again have the same. You have the sky, you have the water. But the water is within that. It's all one thing. It's only one thing expressing itself differently. So that some kind of world building occurs. You see what I mean? This is why this is a world building system. And this is how it works, right? And then so, these are the 3. These are the 4. You have these 4 forms, right? Here, again, the 5 forms. With Krishna in the middle. Here, you see the same. Can you see? Do you see? You can see now, don't you see? This is how it is. This is it, there's nothing else to it. This is absolute it. And you So, what you then perceive, this world here, this is basically like, technically, happens inside you, in the same way that a mirror reflects images. Wait, my cat needs to go outside. Come on. So, and as you see, this is basically how the matrix works. So, these 5th and 6th and higher dimension, all this stuff is astral. Right? This is all astral. And the causal doesn't have any forms in this way. In this way, maybe it's one-dimensional. It's only a point. It's not differentiated. It's a cause, it's a mustard seed. The kingdom of God is as a mustard seed. It's actually as small as this, the spirit atom. So, and So this is your. Remember one thing. Your body is basically the holder, the vessel of all of this. This is why the atheists think that the body is the only thing, because they can't really make out what the software is that drives it. The mind. So this is your body, blah 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 blah. Right. And then basically you have your heart, and within that is a flame. And on the other side is the Lord. Of course, as I said, these two need to be united. They need to be brought together. This is what I say with first you have a realization of dualism, that is mind and body is different, and then you need to overlay it. That is the only way out of the matrix. It seems counterintuitive, but all the scriptures say the same. Matter and mind, male, female, these dualities must be overlaid. The Apocryphons are quite clear on this, and the Gnostics. Anyway, what we then have, because you have read stuff about Hieros Gamos and all these things, right? So what we then have is you have different layers again of your being. Technically then you have an astral dream body, the body that you assume in dreams, which looks basically like you. And with the physical, with the etheric astral body, you cannot go beyond the earth. So if you go further, that is mental travel, it is not astral travel. Because the mental body is even finer than the physical body. Here again, in a different color. And so, like, the wings and these things, they are all on the astral body. This can at some point be transferred to the causal, but it is not so easy, and it is a different process. It takes... What we need to know here is, so the same flame is also present in here, right? And the same flame is also present here. So as you can see, it's kind of like a continuous thing, right? From physical to causal. Just this is practically hidden because it's abstract, it doesn't have any form, it cannot be seen unless with special vision. And with special vision I don't mean anything that, yeah. In the theophanies, when you see God, when you see the Absolute, when you see the Divine, then you see a look into this body. And you can again, every one of these four, physical body, astral, causal, and then here this flame is the fourth. this is the absolute plane, or Franz Barton calls it Akasha. And whatever, and the higher self is embedded in here within intelligence. Intelligence surrounds this. And within this then is the causal body. And these things are not explained in these religions, so we also will have to somehow teach them. I'm not making you responsible that they don't have not done that. I like to make jokes. You have to be not serious with me. I don't like to being serious. I don't like being nice all the time. I don't like being harmful all the time. I'm not harmful, I'm sorry. What I'm saying is we cannot allow religious wars to go on like this. And so if you're trying to find out what's going on, I'm just gonna describe it this way. So the causal body then also has 4 divisions. And Franz Barton describes these also. These are the thinking, feeling, willing, and all action. You need all these together. So, and these basically again make up this body. So you can imagine that it is like divided in like different structures. But what there must be something very clear to you. Like there is connecting these bodies is something, and this is basically not only your spirit spark, but it is like a matrix from this level. This is the astral matrix. A matrix is a field of rows and columns. And here you have again the mental matrix. And I think now you can really like maybe a little bit better see how the structure originally works. Like ideally you act from the consciousness that you are here down to here, through the mental matrix into the astral body which surrounds the other one, into the physical body which surrounds yet the other one. And the same as this is here is also the Lord here, and in the end you will merge him into your astral body here, which will basically, at that point you will have achieved power like me. So each one of these 4 poles here basically has a personification of God, and with this you identify. It is you, it is what you are. It is me, it is everybody else. It's in what the fire is everywhere. It doesn't mean, there's not one element which is better than the others. All are equally important. You cannot have one not. That is the hubris. That is the problem with understanding how Franz Barton and the Hermetic traditions and the real truth actually works. So then you have these 4 poles. Then you also have a personification of the Absolute. And you have the very same categories. You have like, I don't know, from school to school this may be different, but the problem is some of these schools the lineage has been broken. If the lineage is broken, you have a big problem. because then it is not really connected to that Brahman, to that Akasha. Then you will remain in the astral world. And this is what creates the soul recycling problem. So you can see why I'm showing you the Alien movie and all this. What it says is, it's about these astral larvae. Right? So in my system is the wrong term, but what it means is Krishna or Narayana is in my system, it is the highest. And this is called so again, you have a function on each level. A function on each level. And here again you have you have its manifestations on the physical plane, like hearing, olive sky, right. As you can see again, this is also, you can also categorize it smaller, but you have an overarching image, and this image contains all the other fire, water, earth. They are within this, they appear in this just like in a mirror, or like in a in a movie. So you have these 5 forces with 5 elements, and all these systems are like that. And you can see the same structure in like Judaism, with the 4-fold name of God, the Tetragrammaton, and all these things. Basically, the basic structure is there. Right. And the more you go into myth, the more you lose this. The more you lose the understanding what it actually is. The 3 triangle here, of course, represents again physical, astral, and causal, which makes, with 4 elements, 12 forms. So we have as I've said, we have basically like this person representing all the fire. And it's not a person, it's basically you. It's like Jesus, it's a placeholder. That is what it means. Of course it can a divine sage, or sometimes God himself appears and interacts in one of these forms. But you have 4 of them. You have like for fire you have this, and then for air you have 1. If you are male, then it's a male form, and if you're female, then it's a female form. They're basically 4 times the same thing, with different, like, I don't know, attributes. The conch shell. And then you have 1 for like earth. Franz Parton explains this very briefly. And this is how the truly heavenly or adept, how we see the world, because we know how it is. And we know that the name does not matter. It matters for the particular system, like if your system uses, let's say, the name Christ or Christ, then it is relevant for you to use only that system. But you need to know that, in the other religions you have also this. You have Christ as the Akasha idea, and then you have the 4 archangels, right? And then the 7 are in the psychic level. The 4 are important. And then you have the Cupid form of God, or the water element, feeling one. For everyone you have an element. It's a very ugly painting. I'm just doing this with my mouse here. It's a bit difficult. And maybe in other religions, maybe they have, instead of like 4 arms, they have 4 wings. This is important for you, but it's specific. It's not. It's the specific. It's the detail. It's not. And from him come these 4. From him comes Sankarsana, which is also completely him. It's not a different one, but in combination with the aspects of fire element, willpower, knowledge, all this. Then the thinking is also coming from him, and the feeling, water, earth. It really looks a bit like Venus, whatever. So look, I know I can be a little bit harsh on this, but I need also to understand, for me to get to this point of knowledge, is one thing. Number 2, if I'm giving part of this knowledge and it will be misused, it will be a great problem, and I will have to clean it up. So we have for centuries never given those knowledge outside of people we really tested for very, 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 very long time. And we did not have that. And I don't have the time to tutor you like this. I would love to do it if I had the time, but I don't have the time. You will find it out yourself. Providence will guide. This there is no doubt. So what you can see is you have the absolute Akasha level, physical, astral, causal or mental. And you need to fully understand how this works. This is very important, and without it you cannot, if you mistake something that in Hinduism, for example, represents part of this, something like this cannot be fallen. It is not, you don't understand correctly what Hinduism is. Right. The externalization of such internal forces is only there for visualization purposes. It has nothing to do with myth. Myth has yet another level, but it is not, and the level is meaning. But don't confuse these things. Keep them separate. Otherwise you will only confuse yourself, and I mean pretty big. And if too many people are again confused on it, then they should actually know better. It is just creating problems. If it is for the, just understand. You are open-minded. I'm trying to understand, to explain you this. I know all this. I'm not actually criticizing you too much, other than to trying to make an impression on you that it is important that we find a way to work together as a species, because we cannot go on killing each other over these things. And also need to understand that the mysteries like this, the true knowledge, to a degree, this iconography I showed you, it's also protection. Right? It's protection that the mundane don't understand it. Because if evil people understand these things fully, be glad John doesn't understand the number of 4. He only understands the 7. If he would understand this better, he would be a very great friend. He's not. What I'm saying is, this is neutral. This is just, it's like the red pill, right? It develops you. It is a symbol for self-development. This is a map for your future development. This is a map for your development from the right. Here you have again here you have even a better picture of the very same. And here you have slightly different iconography, color, but you see it's the same thing actually, right? It's the same thing. Here again it's the same face. It's the same person. Can you see what I say? So right, you can see what these things mean, right? Red is fire. The bow means willpower and to aim correctly. This is the power to destroy, the power to drag and attract electricity. All these symbols here. This is so universal and abstract and simple, and the same is for the Christian iconography. It's the same thing. And in the middle, you see? And by combination they get more. These are not different goddesses and gods. This is one god. Or one goddess. The same is true for 4, 5 ghosts, or female forms of Brahman. I don't know if I find all 5 here, and probably only the 3. But you will eventually see the principles are the same, like everything represents something, and it may be a different, like if I'm from a different culture, right? Then another system might look weird, like it might be to my eyes, and the forms are only the astral. So have like angels, archangels, virtues, powers, thrones, cherubim, seraphim. Right? To me, I can only go with intuition here, because I don't know. So I'm very reluctant to say anything. Other than it's very clear that here the 4 elements are manifested within one who is adept. Right. That's what it means. Nothing else. The narratives you are stuck in. This is exactly the problem, right? And I'm not gonna involve myself anymore, because this is just getting too weird for me. You have like these thrones and the cherubim and the seraphim. Right? So there are these kind of hierarchies, but they're actually all they should be the same thing. I don't know how it here is. Maybe this is on a smaller level, maybe on a larger, I don't know. That's all not relevant.